be happy in their job. That this is hosted by Impact Hub Berlin, where change goes to work. That's what they say, and it's really true. It's a great co-working space in Kreuzberg and also opening up a new in Neukölln. And they are building an ecosystem, and that is also very interesting and important to bring in the different players of the different fields, like consultants, like companies, because we're in this together, and this kind of connecting is really important, and that is what our goal is with this tribe. And we are also trying things, so we're open, but we thought, let's put our know-how and our ideas in here so you can learn from that, and we can go together and build a better future, because we need to do it urgently. I think that's the core of it. If you have any further questions in the future, you can always call us. I say that, and we're happy to connect with you. And also, you know, if you bring in inspiration of what is it that you would want to talk about, we'll have the time to talk about it. We want to keep it really interactive. We want to give in Corinna's part, then have a breakout, then me just giving a little impulse, because we're going to focus on the B Corps today, and then again talk with each other. So it shall be interactive, starting with a lot of know-how and know what and know why from Corinna Radu. Thank you for joining us and doing this tribe together.
Thank you, Niv. Thank you. It's very kind of you. I'm looking forward to see at the end of this event if it really offered the answers that people attending are looking for, perhaps. Maybe some of you have been hearing about B Corps, maybe some of you have been reading about starting, for example, today, the B Corp Global Climate Summit, which is a very interesting combination of B Corps that came together in order to pledge for the zero waste and zero emissions movement by 2030. So it's really a global movement that's trying to get the people together and to go from one continent to another. So let me just start my my input now with a few details about B Corps and why do we need B Corps today. So as we are facing the challenges that we have today, definitely we can see it's a time to build a more inclusive economy. And in order to do this, we need to acknowledge a few things. The first is to recognize that the systems we have do not work anymore, or do not work for everyone in the same, providing the same value, and that's a pity. And the second is that we need to acknowledge the alternatives. What alternatives do we have, and how can we provide these viable solutions to initiate change and to come to a new economic system? So B Corps or big corporation certified companies are the type of company that have appeared in the recent decades that want to change the view of few shareholder maximizing value and make the shift towards the stakeholder value, a stakeholder participation to everyone in the decision making. And I believe that's very important because for many decades, we have seen a small group of shareholders taking decisions for larger corporations, and maximizing profits and value, while the most of employees and the communities and those families that work there have suffered. So I, as a B Corp leader, understand very much this shift, and I really endorse it because I think it is what we need in order to have better decision making when it comes to businesses' impact on environment and on society. So definitely I am for creating more stakeholder value, for giving more participation to employees to come to the decision-making process on the long term, very inclusive. And also, if we look at the type of industries where B Corps are growing, we see them more into the regenerative industries rather than in the extractive, fossil fuels industries that have been so far. So what is actually a B Corp? B Corp certified companies are companies that are for profit, that use the power of their business to balance profit and purpose, and to create a more inclusive and sustainable economy. They meet the highest standard of social performance and environmental performance as well. And as of this year, there are almost 4,000 B Corps in the world, in 150 industries and in 70 countries. What makes a certified big corporation? It's very easy to say from my point of view, but I'm trying to pass this thought also to you. First of all, certified B corporations, they are meeting the highest standard of social transparency, of environmental performance. And this is not only because they say, they say it is like this, but they are verified by a third party who is involved in the certification itself. Then they are very transparent about the social and environmental impact, and they publish what they're doing in this sense on their public profile. And then what makes a B Corp is the legal changes that they adopt in order to include all the interests of the stakeholders in the decision-making process of the company. So just to summarize in a nutshell, who can become certified B Corp? It's companies who are for profit, any size and any country, and those who have more than 1 year of operations. There are two main steps how to become a B Corp, let's call it like this. So the first part is that companies have to do self B impact assessment. This is actually an online tool available for companies. This is free, where they have to score or they have to have a number of points, let's say that minimum 80 points in order to be validated and start the certification process. The second part of the process is to make the legal changes. So what it means that companies that decide to enroll in this journey to become B Corps, they have to amend their articles of association and to commit there in a short paragraph that they will consider into the decisions making not only the shareholders but all stakeholders. So it means that they will adopt a sort of a purpose clause for the company where they stipulate they are committed to material positive impact on the environment, the community and the society, but also they adopt what is called a director's clause where the management of the company commits to include stakeholder interest into the account, which actually leads me to say there is no prioritization among the stakeholders and all interests are really equal. A very important example that I want you to have perhaps later when you can look at this presentation is the story of Whole Foods USA and the founder John Mackey, that for many, many decades Whole Foods has been non-transparent to the impact on the environment and to the social performance. And then they were forced into sale by activists and B Corp growing movement at that time. So I guess it may be in 2000. And then it is famously said that John Mackey said, oh boy, did I wish we were a B Corp. And this means that he really understood at that moment that having a company where the purpose and profit are balanced, it is the right way when you want especially to save yourself from forcing into sale. And you can even have watch the interview with John Mackey on YouTube if you want. It's still here. A short standard approach on how you can become a B Corp as a company. It's quite made in, let's say, 5 steps. First, you have to do the B impact assessment. As I mentioned, this is online. This is available to anyone, to any team in any company. And you have to score at least 80 points on the B Impact assessment. Once you get your score verified by the B Lab, the organization that drives this certification for B Corp, then as a company, you can make your status official. You sign a term sheet from B Lab and then a declaration of interdependence that I can show you at the end of this presentation. There is a certification fee that actually covers the cost of this validation by the B Lab that the companies pay annually. And then as a company, as a B Corp already, certified already company, you have to amend your constitutionary documents in order to reflect this stakeholder objective and considering all stakeholder interests, as I mentioned before. So these are, in general, the 5 steps that are required in the process. But of course, behind any of these steps, there is a lot of work to do. I also wanted to bring you in discussion something about startups and maybe those companies who have not yet had the full 12 months of activity. So there is a possibility for young startups, for companies to have the pending B Corp status. And most of the startups that I know and I work with, they decided to signal this pending B Corp status to current and future investors, because they want to let them know that the company is considered from the very beginning to measure its impact on environment and on social transparency, and they want to demonstrate they are adopting strong governance early on. Just a little bit about the B Impact Assessment as a tool. As I said, it's it's a confidential online tool, so nobody has access to it except the company that is doing it and the B Lab team that is going to validate the impact assessment. And what basically is the impact assessment works through a series of questions, which are divided on 5 impact areas. Once you answer those questions, you get a final score for all your answers. And the B Impact Assessment tool also creates a customized improvement plan, which is based on your answers and which is linked to free best practice guides that already exist in the B Corp movement and improved practices. So whenever this B Impact Assessment gets started or gets done, it's not just making an assessment, but it's also getting in touch with what other companies are doing in your sector, what are the best practices you can learn from, and how can you set up goals and implement them in due time. So basically it looks like this. If you open it online, you just create an account for your assessment, and then based on your business model and your activities, you are putting actually the information into one or other sector where you're operating. For example, if you're a consultancy and you want to become a B Corp, definitely you go to the minor services. If you are maybe a mobility company, you go in the second one, significant environmental footprint. You have also retail, manufacturing, agriculture, and so on. So based on the sector that you choose, it will be a different B Impact Assessment that will open up to you. The dashboard looks like this. It's really inviting. It's really easy and friendly to use, where you have the information about the company. You see the markets. You see also what are the next steps. You can review the information you've put there. And then you see the next impact areas that are going to be submitted to you. I said that B Impact Assessment is actually a series of questions They are in fact 200 questions, whereas 140 are related to operations and 60 they look at your business model, your impact business model as a company. And the 5 impact areas that I mentioned to you are actually those 5 impact areas where the company has the highest possibility to measure its impact. So it's governance, so how the company is governed and led by its management. If it has certain policies in place, if it has certain strategies in place. The second is workers. So how is a company related to employees and how it treats employees, how it monitors the performance and so on. The third is the community. What is the company doing to influence the people and the community where it operates? The fourth is the environment. Maybe no further comment needed. And the fifth, last but not the least, it's the customer. So actually how the company is measuring the customer satisfaction and how it responds to the customer needs. Just to give you a very short glimpse of what kind of questions you can be asked to answer if you do the B impact assessment. If we look, for example, at governance, there is this section looks at the processes that the company has in order to support the company's mission and the company's values. So how the company creates an impact, for example, or checking if the mission statement includes social or environmental commitment, or to identify those ways how the company engages with key stakeholders. Then if we look at workers, for example, how is the company identifying ways to monitor and evaluate employee satisfaction or employee engagement? Because in companies today, we really look at having engaged employees who have perhaps a sense of belonging, which is lost today due mostly to the remote work. So how do you do this? What are the benefits that you as a company offer to your employees and so on? For example, at the community side, so what is, as a company, your business model has an impact on the community where you do really your activities. So for example, how is the business model of your company creating a specific positive benefit for the local community? How do you offer or create recruitment opportunities for people who are living there? And how do you create in your company an equitable and inclusive workplace for your employees? So really important question that try to get the essence of how the company treats the people that work there. For the environment part, for example, as a company, do you have any projects or do you want to develop any projects to reduce waste, to tackle energy efficiency, water consumption? Do you look at the building where you operate and do you know about green building certificates or standards? What environmental data you are tracking and so on. And for the customers, the type of questions can be, do you offer guarantees or warranties to your customers? Where do you have third-party certifications for your products? What it is your grievance mechanism? So how do you deal with complaints and how do you solve them? And of course, how do you protect the data that your customers entrust with you? Once you go through the B impact assessment and you really are close to ending it, you can have a very interesting benchmarking of your company. For example, in this case, I took the example of a company that reached 97.7 score, which is a good score, but it is definitely bigger than the score at the left, which is 53.6, which is the average minimum score done by other companies that have also submitted the B impact assessment. But also it's smaller than, let's say, 131, which is the top score given by other companies in the same sector. So if I am a company and I'm looking at this example, I can see that I'm standing well, yeah, I'm somehow at the middle, but there is still enough room for me to improve if I want to be one of the best companies in the B impact assessment. And then you can see below an impact area scores where it really comes the higher score, where it comes the lower score, and then it gives you ideas where you need to work a little bit with your company. For example, if we look at governance here, yeah, we can see that the governance means mission and engagement from your company, ethics and transparency, and mission locked, which is how do you protect your mission? How do you protect this balance of profit and purpose? So if you look at the score, you can also see, because it's doing this benchmarking online, that at some points you're sitting better than other companies. For example, at mission and engagement, you're more engaged than others. But in others like ethics and transparency, you're lacking behind other companies that have already submitted the impact report. So it gives you this breakdown per topic. It gives you ideas where you need to improve. It forces you to think at co-creating ideas and solutions, how you can be a better business in the future. Okay, a little bit about the B Corp movement, because you might be curious and ask, why do we talk this today? B Corp certified companies are growing. They have started in the US in the 1980s, but they have reached Europe in, I think, 2014, 2015. So today there are almost 4,000 B Corp certified companies in the world in various sectors of activity. So maybe here I can show you what are the top certified B Corp industries. Number one is food and beverage, and then it's followed by communication services, IT, software, of course, financial consulting. It's also aiming to become a B Corp, sustainability consulting by itself, and then home and personal care. But also maybe this feeling of why B Corp is growing can be given by some of the words that CEOs of companies who have become B Corp certified have left. For example, I don't know if you like ice cream. I do a lot. So Ben & Jerry's is one of the top leading B Corps today. And the CEO of Ben & Jerry's said that this B Corp certification has helped the company to gain public confidence, and it helps also the company to do the benchmarking and networking with other similar sustainable companies they want to work with. In the Netherlands, there is a bank who is certified as B Corporation. It's the Triodos Bank, and their mission is to support entrepreneurs and founders of startups to get very easy access to financing and avoid all this hurdle that it is today to establish your company and get secured financing. So they said they want to contribute to entrepreneurship and to the society. Another very known company is Innocent Drinks, and they are known in the UK for the fact that they have been one of the first companies that have become B Corps, and they say for them has been such an opportunity to learn, to find out best practices, how to be a better company at the end of the day. Perhaps one of the top companies certified B Corp since 2000, maybe 12. It's Patagonia. It's a fashion company that they said, you know, the former CEO here, Rose Marcario, said that becoming a B Corp has been the biggest achievement of their lifetime as a business. And moving a little bit towards perhaps Danone. Danone is known as one of the companies that have become B Corp, and then they got a very big loan. Really, they needed a lot of money, so they got one of the biggest loan ever in the history. And one of the requirements of this loan was to keep their B Corp certification, which signalized that investors were aware about this importance of having a valuable non-material asset in the company, such as this certification, and they wanted to maintain it. And of course, the CEO of BlackRock, which has pledged to support companies who are delivering financial performance, but also those who have contribution to the society. If by chance any of you are interested in knowing how is or what does it mean to be a B Corp in Austria, I have been part of this discussion a couple of weeks ago, and you have a link here to this podcast, where I had the pleasure to talk to several CEOs, such as the CEO of Too Good To Go, you know, that startup that tries to save meals from restaurants and sell it to people. Helios, which is a company, the solar energy. Kiese, which is a big pharmaceutical company also in Austria, and Danone, Switzerland. So they have all said what was their journey as leaders in transforming their companies and becoming B Corps, how it helped them, and what do they advise other companies who want to start the same journey. So if you're interested, you have here the link to the podcast. I think that is very important when we talk about business and business transformation, to realize that we talk in fact about people, because businesses are people. So if we talk of transformation, we talk of people transformation. Here there is some research showing how B Corps are doing when it comes to attracting people, making their employees engage, attracting new talented professionals that want to work for B Corps. So for example, we can see overall that young talented people want to join B Corp companies. They consider that their value are matching very well with the company values, and they feel more engaged and more stimulated. On the other hand, B Corp certified companies have proved that 95% of them have started and they maintain a program to train their employees, to help them go further in their personal and professional development. So it's a win-win situation on both sides. And of course, B Corps appear to the public, to the customers, because most of so 80% of global customers consider that businesses must play a huge role in addressing what our society and our economy needs today. And of course, companies who have become B Corps have always got the attention and the confidence of their customers. Just to give you a short maybe update on how companies are doing once they have become B Corp certified. So it's not that if you certify a company as a B Corp, then you sit and rest, you know, for the rest of time. You have a period of 3 years, and after 3 years you need to recertify. So in this period of time, it can happen that your environmental and social performance is going up, it's going down. You go through changes as a business, but it is important that when you recertify, you aim for a higher score. So this will show positive change in your company. So for example, just three companies here, Mac Jeans, have improved really their score since 2014 from 91 to 125. Patagonia is still one of the highest scoring companies in the B Impact assessment history. It has now 152, and Ben & Jerry's have gone from 87 to 110. This means that companies still, pursue this certification because it gives them also the safety, the sureness, and the engagement to go further, and also to attract their employees. And as I promised, this is the Declaration of Interdependence that B Corp companies are signing when they become B Corps. It's really a declaration that comprises everything. It starts to the fact that all certified B companies acknowledge that business is a force for good, for doing good for the society and for the economy. that they are companies that are purpose-driven, or companies that balance profit and purpose, and they serve the interest of all stakeholders, not only the shareholders. And very important it is to know and to remember that as businesses, as well as people, we depend on each other. We rely on each other as a network. And we are responsible not only for activities that we do today, but also for the next generations that will come after us. Just a little bit, some green tech B Corps based in Germany, for example, that have become B Corps not a long time ago, and some companies that caught my eye when I looked for green tech. For example, there is this Tomorrow GmbH company, which is a mobile banking for a better future. It's a mobile banking app for students, for young entrepreneurs who want to be more structured with their investments and with their money at the end. So they're having a very big score for the sector. Another interesting company was Fibur. It was a company that gives advice on ethical and ecological insurances, which is based in Berlin. Again, with a very high score in the insurances sector. Then perhaps you know very well Ecosia. It's the competitor of Google. It's a web search service that has a high score as a B Corp company. And again, some B Corps that have been awarded last year Best in Customers, Helios, a renewable energy company, and Little Sun, which is based in Berlin, really having high scores in the energy sector of B Impact. So again, I invite you all to, if you're interested, if you're a business founder, if you're looking to start your businesses, to look into the B Corp community, which comprises much more companies that I have now on my screen. And I would say this ends my input, and let's just get to it. I hope that my presentation answers to some questions that you might have already, and I'm looking forward to hear them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Corinna. With a lot of offer you the chance to network and bring you in breakout rooms for 10 minutes to basically talk about it. And we have two guiding questions for you. One is really, what do you take away from this, and maybe how you will also implement this know-how, or also maybe you bring in some insights here as well. And the second one is like, what are your questions? So since we're here together and we look at this topic on B Corps, and Corinna is here to answer you all the questions that you have at this moment. Mm-hmm. We want to offer you the chance to get in touch with each other, to network, so we can build a community and get together. And also then afterwards, we want to have the big room and are looking forward to also hear impulses from you and ideas. And after that, I'm going to share a little bit about talent perspective and what to do now. And then again, we want to talk with you. Mm-hmm. So this becomes the interactive part, and we're inviting you to the breakout.
Hi, Corinna, how are you doing?
Hello, Natalia. I'm fine, thank you.
Yes. How's everything? I mean, I very much enjoy your presentation and the whole clarification and everything on the B Corps.
Thank you very much, Natalia. I'm really happy to be able to bring all this information to you and other participants who have asked me before to talk about B Corp. I hope there is not too much information. I wanted to be really fast and giving you the overall feeling of what it means to be B Corp. Are you interested? Are you more interested in B Corp also for further?
Yeah. I am actually quite interested in. For instance, one of the questions that I was thinking, you mentioned that it's all sizes, but I think usually we think that B Corps are more for small and medium-sized enterprises, right? Rather than the big ones. So we need to more or less pull the big ones so that there's a trend, so to say.
Yeah, well, it is for corporations as well, as the name says. I always get this talk like if it's a B Corp, it's a B corporation is not for small companies, and because it's the name corporation, sometimes confuses small entrepreneurs. For corporations, it's a much complex project because for example, corporations have branches, they have departments, so every unit, let's say, every unit can do the B impact assessment. So for a company, it will be different, more B impact assessment that are connected together. At the end, they give a final score, and you see how the company is overall sitting on these 5 impact areas I mentioned before. So it's more complex, but again, it's more easy, and you can see really the end of the tunnel for smaller companies, for medium-sized one. Yeah.
And for the big ones.
Yeah.
And how's the situation here in Austria? I mean, you said that you were working more with, are there is a trend for startups or more for this type of middle SMEs? Or
well, it is more a trend for companies who want to start, because for companies who already have a long history, this transformation requires more work. Yeah, it requires first a management endorsement. It requires a mindset. So maybe it is seen like we have a lot to do, but for companies that are not far in their activity, they really see that B Corp helps them, from the very beginning, have a solid, sound governance, have some practices, some policies in place for employees, have certain projects to help the environment and to help the community. So it's easier, of course, from the very beginning, or maybe not too far in the beginning, to do this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's actually some insightful information, yes, especially for startups, because I think here it's quite let's say well known, everything about sustainability, especially for startups. So I was actually curious also to know if they are doing that, or they are mostly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that this topic of sustainability, it's a lot talked about, but then it's not, it might be submitted to some interpretations for one company or another. I'm trying to bring them with this B Corp assessment sort of clarity and understanding where they want to be in the next couple of years, because I'm really not focusing on what their status today or current status, so how the organization. I'm always looking to what do you want to do in the future. Yeah? So if you're committed in the future to transform, then you have to go through a process where you first investigate how you stand, and also a process that helps you set up goals. For example, this B impact assessment helps you set up goals. And also it helps you find resources from other companies, which I find really good, from other companies, to see how they, what were their solutions they have applied, how far they gone to it, what was the result, which you can find in this benchmarking option. So you can see where you sit, but also you can see your competitors in the same sector. And this triggers some decision-making processes. And of course, change is, it takes time, and but you need to start, you need to start today. Yeah.
No, that I can definitely imagine.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Natalia. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact me anytime. I have an introduction on B Corp. If you want to have another talk with me, maybe to find more details, let me know. I can send you a link, and then we can make an appointment for that. So if you're interested, that's a free call about a potential journey for a company or for a startup that you might want to ask about. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much then.
Thank you also, Natalia. Thank you very much. Sure.
Yeah, I have
to. Hi, Alexandra. Hi, nice to see you.
Hi, Corinna. Hi, very nice to see you. I'm not really in the shape for breakout rooms. I was not aware that we have to put the cameras on.
Okay, put the cameras off if you want, but I don't really mind. I mean, I can see you, and let's not get to it.
It's all good. Don't worry.
Yeah. So how are you feeling?
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
I got in touch with the person you sent me.
Mhm.
There's actually someone else now in charge to just switch roles, but he hasn't got back to me yet. There is no course at the moment, so I'm crossing my fingers that will be soon.
So Alexandra and Wendy, I hope that you found my input on B Corps really useful. Do you have any questions? Do you want to ask me something now? Really fast burning questions, perhaps.
So I've just literally jumped on board a company. It's my 4th day, but they are interested. And so we're very small. We're an energy consulting firm. And I was just curious, like, what are the major reasons that an application might get rejected? You know, like, where are the pitfalls?
Well, it's not rejected. It's just that when you do the impact assessment and perhaps you're not scoring, as I said, you have to score 80 points out of 200. Right. So you might be getting 90, you might be getting 100, but maybe you're scoring just 80. And then it's a period of time when you are validated by another, let's say, B Corp analyst, team of analysts from B Lab. So once you have done your self-assessment, your B impact assessment, then they come to validate it. They come and ask you, okay, Wendy, you have answered here this way. Can you provide us for some background? Maybe you have a policy, maybe you have a document, maybe you have, you know, something to prove that. And the reason is that, you know, companies tend sometimes to oversize their achievements and perhaps say you have everything while perhaps you don't have it, but you want to have it. So that's a different topic. And then it might be that during this talk your score gets below 80. So again, you cannot submit. You have to have 80 points to be validated. So if you're going back, then it's difficult. You have to again work a little bit to reach it. This is one thing that can happen during this validation phase. So we're talking about validation and getting the right score for a company. And again, then it's a pride if you're scoring higher than perhaps your competitor in another company in the same sector like you, because then you see how is that they sit better than you, what are the chapters, what are those impact areas, and why you are below. So it's sort of a competition, also a benchmarking. You can also learn from them other lessons learned, how they implemented or what solutions did they find to boost their score. So it's always, you know, getting better and better and showing this in a way that can be measured.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So Wendy, if you have any more questions, then I say we can stay in touch. Just maybe we can connect on LinkedIn. And I have a free call about how to get the B Corp process. And if you're interested, you know, you can anytime contact me and we can arrange. Then I can tell you much more if you're interested, and we can see if it fits, you know, if you're ready for this transformation, if everything falls into plan. Yeah, so just let me know. Yeah,
very cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome back. All breakout rooms will close in 30 seconds, and we have some new guests here, so welcome everyone to our event on B Corps and how to create a better future, I might say. So yeah, we've been in breakouts with one-on-one, and then we added some people, so there was a lively discussion going on already. But also let's continue that here. Let's hear, what did you get out of it? What are questions that you have that Corina can answer, or maybe me? And maybe also you can share a little bit of your field, or from what perspective you come into this, and how this is interesting to you. Because we see the space as, well, given our inputs the best we can, but also to connect everyone so we can find better solutions for tomorrow, which we urgently need. So the space is open, and let's talk. Let's hear what's been going on, and what are open questions, or what are your takeaways. And let's ask for maybe room 3, Bjarne and Nadine. Maybe you can share a little bit about your perspective or what you got out of this, or also questions, maybe like, what are your next steps? How can we support you? Or is there something that you want to share? Also, we'd like to welcome you.
Yeah, I unmuted myself. That's the sign, obviously. Shit. Nothing super specific. We kind of talked about our own little journeys and our experience, and I feel like we are both very experienced. I forgot a little bit about the questions, even though it came back to me, but it was time up, so that was a good sign. We talked a lot about Berlin experience, what he's looking for. Actually, Bjarne, maybe you want to share what you're looking for. I couldn't help in detail, but it's always great to connect and to open the network a little bit.
Thank you, Nadine. So, Björn.
Yeah, I have been. Yeah, okay. Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm in Copenhagen, Denmark, or in Denmark at least here. So, but I was looking at. I've been in Impact Hub Berlin, so that's why I was following a little what you were doing. So I just remember that the way the Impact Hub Berlin works is quite nice, of course, and so I was looking for more people in how I can maybe apply these sustainable things in Denmark, and I already have some tools I got from Service Design Berlin and Design Thinking sessions, kind of like. But of course, the sustainable things is always interesting to look into more.
Yeah. So first of all, congratulations. If you're Danish, right? Denmark has the largest number of B Corps to date. Businesses that are becoming B Corp, that have become B Corps in some time, really the largest number existing in Europe, and it's a leader into this sustainability certification, as we can call it very shortly. So if you are thinking to set up a business, or you have already a business and looking into B Corp, then I think this topic today, with hosted by Impact Hub Berlin, it's the right start for you in your journey. But let me know if this is the case. I don't know yet. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I can look for some collaborators here. Maybe that's more what I need. I have an innovation house close to where I am now. But I don't know. I think they have more little traditional approach to things. Even they try to make it a research between university and industry and people. But
as you could see maybe from my input, that mostly manufacturers or manufacturing companies or startups that have creating a product are the most who can benefit from the B Corp certification, because it's how to say, it's much more to talk about it, rather than those who are providing a service, but also the service ones like finance services, like green financing, and then sustainability are also companies. Consulting companies are also growing into the B Corp ranks. So it's quite an interesting movement that gives you an alternative way of creating your business or leading your business, which I think it's benefit. It's a win-win. As I like to say, it win-win situation on many sides, and it's really worth to look into it.
Okay, I will do that. That's good.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bjarne.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question to the general attendance? Is here anyone who is a founder or maybe an entrepreneur who is interested into looking for its own journey with its company into B Corp certification? Some people are noting. No? Yes, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not the founder, but I'm the fourth person on the team. So kind of feel like some days, right? But
yeah, absolutely. You're right there. You're in the and I hope that there is also some diversity in the team, right?
We're working on that too.
Okay, perfect. It's a perfect step to start being a B Corp. Yeah.
I'm the second female, so we're working on it, right?
Absolutely. That's a 50-50. That's very good. Is there anyone interested maybe to building a startup and wants to know how to do it in order to be maybe compliant, in order to have a better governance, in order to set up strategies from the very beginning? Let us know if this is the case. Hello,
Yes,
Oriente.
Yeah, hello. Sorry, I'm super late. Then I missed the presentation, but we would like to join the B Corp certification. That would be fantastic for us. We launched Bennu in October, and that could be, I think, the good moment to do that. I don't know if I can contact you.
Yes, definitely. Yes, you can contact me. You will have also the presentation and my contact details. We can connect on LinkedIn as well. And I have a free call for founders and entrepreneurs who are looking to find more about B Corp. So we can then establish a meeting and we can talk much more about your intentions. Yeah, definitely. I can support you, definitely. Yeah. Benno is based in Berlin, as I understand, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we will look to that. Yeah.
What do you do? What is your product or service?
Very quickly, it's a little bit like a HelloFresh, but we use only local and seasonal products. And also, we don't use any plastic packaging. We try to to encourage people to use a fund system and to return it. Then yes, that's a little bit a sustainable solution to eat sustainably. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely it is. And you also have some competition, right, on the German market, or do you want to expand outside Berlin, Germany?
Yes, we would like to expand, but we have competitors, but not with local and seasonal product. That's our specificity. Then
yeah. Wow, amazing.
It's okay. It's tough. That's why.
Yeah, the food challenge is always very tough, but you're doing it, and that's already.
And it's working.
Great. Yeah,
then it's great.
Then it's great if it's working. Yeah. And it's great.
Nice.
So thank you very much. Well, Niv, if this is maybe if there are no more questions, maybe it's time for we to move forward. What do you think?
Yes, I think it's always good to move forward. And I'm going to move a little bit further away from where I had been before because it's a bit louder and you can hear me better. I didn't prefer this environment before because it becomes a little hot in these boxes. However, that is the problem that we are dealing with these days. It's just getting too hot, right? So that's why we're
all
here.
in a hot box right now. Yeah.
That's why we're here to deal with this different climate situations. And I've just again heard a radio report from the institute in Potsdam that they were just talking about this heat wave right now going on in Berlin, and the professor just says, yeah, we said it 25 years ago and but no one would listen, and now we are here and let's do something about it. And I'm happy now to share a little bit of the talent perspective, because Corina does the B Corps and the certification and consulting businesses. And what I do as a coach is I support people to get into jobs, to find out about what is it that really drives them. So I'm really giving a high level look at only 10 minutes of what can you do now? What does this change that we are in now means? Just generally in the work world, but also then looking at green, sustainable sector and the green tech part. So now I'm presenting and I'm trying to share my screen. I've been all day doing this, by the way. I've just came out of another workshop, and I can only do this because I love this. This is what I realized, and actually also connects to my values. And now I'm sharing the screen with you and sharing the presentation here. So now do you see the screen? Presenting, unterbrochen. Now, okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
no.
you got it.
Yes.
Okay, so really I want to bring in four views, four perspectives. One, the general change we are in. Second, the values and motivation. Since we heard about B Corps, we already understand that they are driven by values and they are really attracting talent. Third one, skills, and then networking, how you can basically build up your skills, how we shall all do that, because the world is moving so fast and we need new skills. So let's take a look at the job landscape at the moment. So what we see here by the data of the World Economic Forum is that by 2025, new jobs will emerge and others will be displaced. So just have a look at the growing job demand, and we see data analysts, we see scientists, AI, machine learning specialists, big data specialists, digital marketing, process automation. And on the decreasing part, the simple jobs like data entry clerks, administrative stuff. So that is happening. And the speed that this is happening, we almost can't imagine. And for that is really important to look at, if I now choose to go into a different career, where is the growing demand? And also, how do I build up my skills? So here you see what has this connection with this is the rate of automation. If you look at 2018, there was still, in general, like high level, 71% of the work done by humans, only 29% by machines. So in 2022, so about now, or like 2 years, 1 year, it's already 60-40. And by 2025, it would be more machine than human. So what does this mean? This just doesn't mean that we are in a scenario like in Her, or was this other movie like Ex Machina, but it means that basically our work world is changing. So we are working with machines. There's digital marketing, there's lots of human machine interaction. This is how we call it. So one thing we see is that we should change what we are applying for, and also we need different skills. So what to do? I think, again, like it's important to look and understand your values. So since we talked about the B Corps, I wanna say that one thing I do in career coaching, for example, always understand your values and motivation. Like really look at what drives you, and also what is the challenge that you want to opt in? What do you want to change? And maybe like, what is it that you cannot live without? So do an assessment of your own values. And this is what I did also with the client. And then look into where there's a fit, where do you want to work? Because obviously, when you have a fit with your values with the company, you will be motivated and eager to continue to working there. So I just made an example of a little, of a match here. So for example, you can put up a table and say, what are your values? So for example, if you have your value transparency or respectful collaboration or improvement, then you have a look and you can put in companies and see what values they have. And if you have a check and a yes, then maybe that is interesting for you to apply. And that gives you orientation, especially since everything is changing so fast, new companies are there. And that is just one advice from that talent perspective. Next one, when we look at the whole field of sustainability, it just grows and grows, and on lots of different levels. So pick your field, understand where do you want to work in, where do you want to bring your skills in? Is it, for example, sustainable food, agriculture, produce? Do you want to grow salads in the city? A great company, by the way, Aponics, they're building these little things where you can grow salad in your home. Do you want to work on smart cities? Do you want to work in mobility or energy? So those are all different fields that are emerging and are more and more important. And especially green tech is something that we want to have a closer look at, since these are companies that are really built for reducing CO2 emissions. And for example, as you may all know, Ecosia or Plan A, or tomorrow, as Corinna already mentioned, which is a great bank, by the way. So if you all don't have an account on a sustainable bank, do tomorrow, do GLS Bank, or what's the other name? Forgot the one in the Netherlands, Triodos, right? Yeah. So that we can all, now we see that the sustainability goes into all of these areas. So choose where do you want to work in, and which problem do you want to work on? Next thing, really short also, understanding that we have skills, and I just want to have a look at these first learning skills: critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication. We shall all be good in this, especially systemic thinking, creativity, and the collaboration and the communication. Those are important because we still need to communicate a lot. We need to ideate a lot. We need to prototype a lot, test and understand. Corinna, when you've put this information about the B Corps up, I thought, wow, how amazing that there's people building up this whole concepts, communicating, communicating in marketing, in the stock market, and all of this. Communication rises, and you should build up your skills in communication fast. Well, how can I build skills fast? I have one advice how to learn skills through networking. So imagine you want to grow in an area like green tech, for example. So you want to go for a job there. First, one thing that you can do is pick some interesting partners you would like to talk to. Then next step, prepare 5 questions that you have. So this can be stupid questions still. Well, stupid ones you can Google in advance, but those 5 questions you want to learn about and you are having an interest, then be bold and ask people for a 10-minute call and ask these questions. So even maybe you don't know them, but you can still do it. But maybe you start with the people in your network and also offer your help. And then later on, ask for someone else to talk to continue your agile learning process. So this way, if you do this like every week, you do 3 calls and you answer your questions, you learn and you review it for yourself weekly, you learn and you support people. That's something you can do to learn skills fast. I think that's it. I hope I wasn't too fast and you could understand me. Since the sound is really good, I'm opening it up again now because now it's getting a little cooler. So these are some impulses from that talent perspective. And maybe now we can kind of put it together and see, what do you see connected to the B Corps? And yeah, just generally, again, have some time to talk about how can we use this to create a better future.
Enjoy.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. So Nadine, nice to finally meet you.
Totally. Thank you so much. It's so properly done, but every time I'm joining Neve's calls, it's like properly workshop formatted. It's never gonna be university style lecture. It's always very interactive.
I don't like university style lecture. I never like it when I was at university, and I try as much as I can not to provide just a monologue.
I can see that. Yeah, actually, my boyfriend, I saw the title and I read it out to him, and I'm like, what is B Corps? Yeah. My boyfriend is working in software engineering, and he founded himself a company when he was early 20. Building IT. I mean, you're a little bit in the head of the tech area, of course, building systems and whatever. I don't even try to explain it. I'm from the creative part. Yeah. And yeah, I was wondering what certifies B Corps, and I really wanted to get to know what it is about first of all. And yeah, and my boyfriend just was like, oh, you could be certified. You have a team out of male and female. And that's it.
Yeah, this is a good start.
It's a good start.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can just not hire anything else.
Yeah, but may I ask what is your business about, or your startup about?
We are producing short videos. But more than this, I mean, it's in the marketing area. We are a production, but we are also already merged into a little bit to an agency, because not only we outsource it. I mean, it's like technical, the operational side. This is not important, I know, for the question, but also it's about consulting people. First of all, when we are in the co-working space here, coaches, single entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, I don't know if Neve is anymore. I mean, he seems like a well-connected multi-level,
I think it still is
universal.
Being a solopreneur means
yeah.
that you're the single person who is leading the show, like me. Yeah.
Exactly, and like helping these people to get more visibility in like, or even just also a pitch training, standing out, storytelling, filming this, having a short video. This kind of cross marketing, like podcast people were approaching us like, hey, we started now LinkedIn and we started social media in general. Instagram, we would need to have a video or an intro video for the podcast, which is not visual thing. But yeah, exactly. We started off 1.5 years ago as a video production company. Now I feel like we merged into a little bit more marketing and overall formats. Yeah. Going to start workshops now as soon as it is possible to bring some people together.
Yeah. This is a challenge that we all are looking forward to solve it. But let me just quickly come back to your question. I think that it's in the first step starts with your mission. Your company has a mission, and I think that this mission is beyond what you're doing, the technicalities, and it's helping people. Maybe you want these solopreneurs, these entrepreneurs, these founders to be closer to their audiences. Maybe you want them to make storytelling. Maybe you want them to share something that the larger community can learn. So it depends on your purpose. Once you define your purpose, I think then you can start your B Corp journey. So the first thing would be that perhaps not alone, but with a team, a small team around you, maybe you and your boyfriend or whoever wants to support, not him. Okay, somebody else. Yeah. Okay, somebody else from the team. So because I always work with companies who assign one person, and one person is not enough to do the B impact assessment. That would be the first step, to do the B impact assessment. And you have there a lot of questions that are covering governance of the company, so how the company is organized, who is, how it's managed. Then they look at the environment. What's your impact on environment? Yeah, you're using a lot of technical stuff. You're making videos. You're producing heat. You're producing emissions. So how do you manage that? It's not what you produce, but how do you manage? How do you measure this impact? Yeah. So to be aware of it. And then you look at your customers. So how do you deal with them? What insurances you offer? Then you look at your employees. Okay, you're a small team. I guess everything runs really smooth and well. But, even if it's a small team, sometimes it needs a little bit of rewarding, a little bit of, so how do you do this? So you don't have to establish grand things from the very beginning, but this B Corp assessment, you're doing yourself, maybe not alone, maybe with somebody else from the company that just helps you go through it. And then you will finish it, you will complete it, you will have a certain score, yeah? And if you have 80 plus, you can submit it to the B Lab. B Lab is the organization behind the B Corp assessment, B impact assessment. So once you can submit it, then you don't rest assured, think, okay, I just submitted and I'm fine. There will be a period of time when somebody from B Lab will call you and say, hey, Nadine, you provided a wonderful answer to this question, but what do you have behind it? Do you have maybe a document? Maybe you have a policy? Maybe you just have, some paper where you stipulated how do you work within the team? What are the good practices within the company? So they will ask you for some proof randomly. And then they validate you, and then you can say, okay, if my score is correct, then I can become a B Corp. That is a huge responsibility you take, even if it looks at the very first like, okay, it's just another certification. Well, it's not. It's something that says that your company sits well in all aspects where you can have impact. And of course, if you achieve that, then you're part of a community, of the B Corp community, where all the other B Corp companies are part of. And it's not only that you're part of this movement, but you're part of the community that really helps with each other. I'm a B Corp leader since this year, and I had a chance to talk with other companies that have become B Corps, because I could not believe, what do you mean help? What do you mean community? How do you help with each other? And I really got impressed by the level of help and support that even, you know, a company like you, a founder of a company wrote to another founder of another company, maybe the same sector, and they said, okay, this is how we do it, this is the solution, this is what we can advise you. If your company is based in Germany, there are different regulations. So to become a B Corp in Germany, you have to amend.
Yes. Welcome back to the big room. Yeah, and I'm also back in the green room here, and things cooled down a little bit, which brings me to the memory also of being on the journey also in Copenhagen. And I have never seen a city that has such a good infrastructure for bikes and also to deal with climate change. I'm just remembering this because we had the honor to have a tour with the city architect back then. And she showed us all the different technologies that people did in Copenhagen. For example, a whole water basin beyond the streets to get big drafts of flood in there. Yeah, so we can learn a lot from Copenhagen, I think. Also, what the quality of living in the city is like. But I don't want to get off topic. We want to talk about talent and B Corps. Well, we're still in the topic of green and sustainability. But let's hear, just for a wrap up, what have you been talking about? What are your takeaways? What questions are still there? What would you wish of the Tribe for to work on continuously? How could you connect with each other? How can you build better sustainable business? I always ask so many questions, right? Just pick one.
Maybe let me start by saying that I had so wonderful discussions that led me to the conclusion that the change starts with the right mindset. And I see entrepreneurs and founders and sustainability, you know, passionate people that have the right mindset to understand what B Corp means. So I'm really happy to see this.
Yes. I'm really also happy that everyone came around. So what we are going to do also, we're going to send you another email with some informations and a follow-up. And yeah, we're always open to talk about this. And we're also building like next steps now, which we don't know. Since one thing is for sure is that the future is uncertain. We can agree on that at least. And we'll deal with it by sticking to our values and sticking to what we can do. And we wish that for you too. And yeah, also, yeah, maybe if someone wants to share also, what are your takeaways? Or also put it in the chat. Today I'm taking things this away with me. So we have stay connected, let's be connected. Nadine, you're close here also. Tell us a little bit, what did you take away or what are your thoughts as media producer in Berlin?
Thank you so much. It's like always really a great networking, great people you're bringing together. I just yesterday crossed like your post somewhere in one of our mutual networks, Nif, and I thought, wow, something to learn from. I don't know yet what it is. So my boyfriend kind of poked me and like, it is something you could be interested for your company. So I was just, you know, like passing by here. And yet it is such a nicely elaborated and formed workshop you're doing here, still virtually in this beautiful weather. And it's not only educational, it's really fun and it really helped me. And yeah, I'm going to reconnect with Corinna also and for my business partner who could only join for a certain time. But it was very, very bright on a lot of spectrum. I don't know, like I'm very thankful. Thank you, Niv.
Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Corinna. One more thing to add, and also, Corinna, if you have something still. One thing is, I said already, get in touch with us. Let me also help you to support your teams, to find a good career. All of the stuff I do, I put this on my LinkedIn. And also, if you are interested to have a free day at Impact Hub Berlin, like you can connect them at any time. They are a great ecosystem, and they're building different ecosystems. And I think this is also a time where we have to look at networks and ecosystem. Corina, you're also connected with the Solved, for example, right?
Yeah.
Climate Kick, also interesting network. So just like look at networks that are there and stay in touch. So.
Yeah, I think that we can even exchange networks. If somebody is interested to know more about this, for example, Solved is based in Finland, and it's looking into the clean tech technologies, and Climate Kick, you all know what they're doing. And I think, the wonderful thing in this is just to exchange and see other networks. And for me personally, it's starting a movement which is worthwhile. It's first about a new mindset, about how to do business in a different way, but it's also about growing together, growing ourselves, professionally, being the best version of ourselves, and businesses being the best version of what they can do for everyone around us. So yeah, thank you very much for coming here today and for listening to us for 1.5 hours. It was really enjoyable to have you here and to see how many people are interested in this topic. I'm really amazed by all this interest.
Yeah, thank you, Nev and Corina, for being here. I'm probably going to bug both of you soon, so yay.
No problem. Thank you very much, Wendy.
And then did you mention that we'll get the slides too?
Yes, yeah.
We'll send you some.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah, you will get also the opportunity to listen to the podcast and see the video about the Whole Foods USA and all their selling problem and why did they choose to be a B Corp. Yeah, now sometimes things happen, positive things happen because something bad happened. So we should avoid this in the future.
I like this perspective.
Cool.
Have a great evening, everyone. Thanks for
you.
joining.
Thank you.